talk about giving back. The co-founders of Home Depot, that would be Arthur Blank and Bernie Marcus, who've made billions from their original commitment to this home supply concern. They've been giving it back year after year, but nothing like what we saw today, committing $40 million between them, $20 million apiece, to help veterans dealing with stress. But here's the thing, not just stress. And by the way, not just veterans. Hear how Arthur Blank explained it all.
The beauty of the program that Bernie just initiated, and I've been, pleased to be alongside him, is that this will be a nationwide program. The response will be nationwide. We hope to have 23 sites up and running in a matter of the next couple of years. We have some of the finest professional people, both medically and in terms of mental wellness, working on this issue. And the results we've seen have been incredible compared to the more conventional ways that treatments are normally administered.
Well, that's what I wanted to pursue. I know there are going to be 23 sites. I know, you're looking for one. I think that will start maybe in Denver. But you mentioned as well, both of you did, the role of Gary Sinise, the actor, of course, who has a foundation devoted to this, I guess working in conjunction with you as well. Explain how these centers will differ from help that the veterans are getting now, or maybe more to the point not getting now. Bernie, I'll give that to you first.
Well, we have all of these young people, all of these people have served, have been through the Veterans Administration and other other organizations, and they haven't. They've come to us. I've met with so many of them. Right now we have five hospitals actually in play. We're going to have 2 more this year. There are about 8 Boulder Crest units. We're going to have about 4 more this year. We expect, as you said, there would be about 23 in the next several years. But we're finding that these places have to deal with them as individuals. There's no drug. There's no pill you could take. It is comprehensive treatment. Each one has a different problem. And at the Marcus Brain Center in Colorado, that's been in play for about 3 years now, we've shown that the results are pretty good. 95% are now achieving a lifestyle that they can live with. And those numbers have never been achieved before by anybody that we're aware of. At Boulder Crest, that handles post-traumatic stress, the numbers were like 55 to 60%. And they're able to go back and function in life, become husbands and wives again, be family-oriented, keep a job, be able to focus, be able to sleep at night, not have the nightmares that they had before. And I think that having Gary Sinise with us and joining us, and we've been involved with Gary for a number of years. He built many homes for veterans that lost their limbs, their arms, their legs. But he recognizes this silent killer that all of them suffer. And having him involved with it, he and I have been talking for about 4 years about the program, and he feels that this is the next thing he wants to attack. But we hope that by in 5 years we'll be taking care of about 10,000 young people a year. And to my understanding, I don't think anybody else has the kind of success that we've seen.
The Boulder Crest program that Bernie described is really approaches it from a post-traumatic growth standpoint. And that is that, trauma, we all have trauma in our lives in a variety of ways, but in trauma induced by, the experiences these men and women have had overseas, or responders in terms of treating them when they come home, it gives them an opportunity actually to not just deal with the stress, but an opportunity to grow. And the success of the Boulder Crest program, which is not a 2-week kind of, go in the woods and spend some time together and deal with personal growth, but it's a year and a half wraparound program. And it very much includes the families and includes all elements of these men and women's lives. And so the result is that the success rate is extraordinarily high. And it's a wonderful program. It's one that we couldn't be more committed to. And as I said earlier, it's an honor. It's always been an honor for me to partner with Bernie, but it's an honor now to partner with Bernie as well as Gary Sinise in dealing with this issue which is really plaguing our country.
Research, guys, has actually shown that this invisible wound that these soldiers suffer can be passed to generation to generation. So unless we get a handle on this now for the men and women directly affected, it could affect their families going generations forward. So Bernie, how does this program do that?
Well, what you have to do is bring the individual back to life. And they're broken when they get to us. And again, I've met with these people over the years. 8 years we've been operating Operation Share in Atlanta, and part of the treatment is a treatment that we're using all over at Tulane University, at University of Florida, Jacksonville, at Jefferson in Philadelphia, and with many more coming aboard in the future. This treatment has the way of staying with them. It's great to treat them, and then afterwards they go back to their old problems. It resurrects itself. We follow these people very carefully over a period of time to make sure they don't slip. We're worried about substance abuse, which is a real serious problem, and it's across the board. So the things that we're seeing, remember, this has an effect on the families because the families live with this situation. When you have a father or a mother that comes home from the war and they're irritable and they're angry and they can't sleep at night and they don't function as a family, it has an effect on the entire family, the wife and the children, and this goes on and on. We have to stop it. This has been going on since 2001, and nobody has come up with a real program that's successful. I think that this is one of the first ones that really shows success, and we have the data that proves it.
You know, Arthur, then what would you do with this that you're not doing now? In other words, it's not being done now. If we failed at this, and I've heard about those suicide rates, they're eye-popping. So obviously whatever we're doing doesn't work. And now here you guys come along with a different plan. How will it be different than what's being done presently, Arthur?
Well, you know, from my viewpoint, Neil, I would say in terms of the TBI, the medical facilities, the hospitals that Bernie had mentioned, are all world class. They're all using common approaches that have been tried and true and tested, and are producing the rates of success that Bernie described earlier, well into the 90% rate. In terms of the post-traumatic growth opportunities, I think the difference is that a lot of the other programs are well intended, and they'll have some effect. They will have some positive effect, but it's very short term. The beauty of the post-traumatic growth program is that the Boulder Crest program is that it's designed to have a sustained relationship with the man or woman, as the case may be, first responder, whatever the issues may be, but do it over a long period of time. We have several guest ranches in Montana. We're using one of them this summer for a number of weeks to host a number of these young men and women as well. But that's just a piece of the work that they're doing at Warrior Path Boulder Crest. It's an amazing program, but it takes that length of service, and it takes a commitment not just to the individual, but to the whole family, because what you said earlier is absolutely true, is that if this is not resolved with the individuals as they come home, again, we're dealing with a third of the population returning from conflicts all over the globe. If it's not resolved, it will be passed on. It's not a question. It will be passed on to their children. So the opportunity to create that bridge and connect that healing and have a healthy transition onto the rest of the family in the future is very, very important. And these programs have been incredibly successful. And one of the things with my partner is that he always wants to see results. He's invested very heavily with this. I've invested heavily alongside him with this. Garrison needs to do the same thing. But I think the beauty of what Bernie and I have always approached, whether it be business, and part of this is business because it's caring about community and caring about humanity in a broad sense, is that we always think about the long-term results. It's not the short-term, it's the long-term results, and can we measure that? And whether it be Home Depot or dealing with these issues now, I think we're thinking and taking the long-term views in both areas. All these invisible wounds are ones that are visible, and getting a positive resolution.
The one thing I want to point out, that all of these treatments are free of charge to these young people and women. There's no charge to them at all, so that they know that they can get what they want. And remember, many of these people don't have money. And what our plans are eventually is to have a place throughout the United States. Right now, many of them can't get the VAs because they're far distance, or they have specialized programs. They have to travel 4 or 5 hours. We want to have it in every metropolitan area so that it's easy to get to. They know they're going to be taken care of. They know that somebody really cares for them and wants to improve their lives. And of course, it's free of charge for them.
All right, Arthur Blank, Bernie Marcus talking about a $40 million commitment, $20 million each to help our troops and to help emergency responders and to help those dealing with stress. It's amazing what they're doing and giving to make that happen. By the way, I want to pass along a statement from Donald Trump in case you think the blue is more than off the rails when it comes to Mitch McConnell. Have no doubt from the former president.